At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this Tuesday morning edition of the ICC Hour being presented by Renaissance Bank. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, renaissancebank.com. I'm Adam Gore, the Sports Information Director and Director of Media Relations here at Itawamba Community College. We do invite you to learn more about ICC by visiting letsgoicc.com. That's on the athletic side. And you can also learn more about the institutional and academic side by visiting iccms.edu. Well, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at last Wednesday's National Signing Day. It was a big day for the football team here at ICC as they welcomed 18 new faces to the football program and to the ICC family for next season. Jordan Smith and I had a chance to catch up with Sean Cannon after that very busy day to kind of break down some of the signees, how some of the recruiting process worked, and then also talking about the transfer portal and how it's kind of played a role in recruiting here on the junior college level as well. That and a whole lot more here on the ICC Hour getting set to come your way. We do appreciate everyone tuning in, but before we get to that interview with Coach Sean Cannon, we're going to hear a word from Renaissance Bank and be back with more right after this here on Super Talk Mississippi.
You live life on your own terms. You won't be told what you can't do, and we're here to back you. From the boardroom to the big stage, Renaissance Bank supports women striving for success. Because greatness isn't held to anyone's expectations, except yours. So if anyone says you can't, prove them wrong. Rise with Renaissance, supporting women in the communities they influence every day.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our National Signing Day kind of review show. Got Coach Sean Cannon, Jordan Smith joining us as well. Coach, before we get into some of the names today, just a real quick recap of National Signing Day.
Yeah, it's always good to add new kids to the program, and signing day for them for sure and their families, and just one more step closer to the season. You get past signing day and you look, spring ball will be here, and then it's summer workouts, and then season, here we go, so it kind of all starts downhill after this day, but a lot of hours put in by our coaches, and it's always good to get kids in your program and see how they're going to grow for you here in a couple of years, and hopefully be good players for your program.
Absolutely. You got a full list of them, but kind of unique this year. Didn't have as many sophomores as you did freshmen, so you didn't really have to go out and get a lot of guys, but you were able to get some key pieces of the next year's puzzle.
Yeah, didn't lose a whole lot. Quarterback, lost some running backs, a few linemen here and there. I think we signed 1 D lineman today, which I think we got 8 or 9 coming back there. So had to get some guys that could come in and fill a role for us, and felt like we did on the first go around at it. And of course, you'll be looking for kids all the way up through August. But this is just kind of a first day to get some kids here.
And Jordan, feel free to jump in at any time with any questions you'd like to ask as well.
You played off the same thing I was thinking there. As you think back to last year, you signed a huge class just because of the number situation.
Yep.
Couldn't really do much in the spring because of that. Mm-hmm. It's a different situation now. You got enough guys here on campus already. You can have a spring practice and go through some things. But then also, you got about 17 to 18 guys that you've signed today as well that are really going to be good for your program.
Yeah, last spring was, going out there with 2 O linemen and 2 D linemen, that wasn't very fun, and so went out there and threw the ball every day. But I think this spring we'll have a lot more competition, and especially in the O-line, D-line. That's really kind of where your numbers are going to are going to be messed up every year. Receivers, you're going to have plenty of them, DBs, but just, I think this spring's going to be really good for some of our kids, and, being able to get them out there and put them through some practices and, all those things like that moving forward. So just can't wait to see those kids develop more from last year to, through the springtime.
All right, let's jump into some names. Let's start right here in our own backyard. Itawamba AHS well represented 3 guys. Anthony Dilworth, you had Sistrunk, and then Ike Chandler as well coming in. So taking care of your backyard, getting 3 really talented guys.
Well, those are 3 kids we offered as soon as the signing date was over last year. And because I'd watched them play all as juniors and good players. You saw what they did for their high school this year and all the way up to the 3rd round, I believe. And, feel like all 3 of them's going to come in and help us, to receivers with Sistrunk playing quarterback this year, so he touched the ball a whole lot. And of course, Ike speaks for himself, him coming through and winning the awards he won this year for him. And excited about Dilworth. I think the guy can run, and I'm anxious to get him out there and on defense for us. And hopefully there'll be some playmakers, and that's one thing that I try to sell to them. I knew what we were going to be losing. I said, hey, man, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for all 3 of them to come in and play for us.
You lose Hiram Wadlington off last year's team, so obviously there's a hole that you got to fill in the backfield on the offensive side.
Yep.
You signed 3 running backs today, one of those guys being Ike Chandler, and you talk about Sistrunk as well and what he's been able to do with the football in his hands.
No doubt.
Ike Chandler specifically, though, Coach, over the course of 2 years, over 4,500 yards rushing, and over 60, or right at 60 touchdowns. I mean, any classification of football you play in, those numbers, that's pretty impressive.
No doubt about him, and a lot of production. That's one thing, and a very durable guy. Tough. Of course, saw him play every game this year with my son being out there, so I was able to, catch him every game that they played, and just, more impressive every week. And teams would hang on him. They would come in there and send 4 or 5 after him, and then that's kind of where Sistrunk would kind of make him pay in the run game, playing quarterback and doing things that he did too. So, but we're right, we had to replace Hiram. We got Quarles back and RJ back, and so those are really only our 2 guys that really, kind of toted the ball for us last year. So we felt like we got to get some guys in there that's going to help us, because I look at running back position kind of like linebacker. One kid cannot play the whole game. You're going to have to roll them in there and keep them fresh. And I thought Coach Cook did a good job last year of getting all those guys the ball and Russell. There's another kid that we got running back in Brooks, I believe, that we hopefully can come in and keep those, keep those guys fresh in the 4th quarter, and kind of like defensively, you always tell them, we got to make the back not the same running back in the 1st quarter he is in the 4th quarter. Let's go out there and hit him. But if you got 4 or 5 options you can throw in there, and all of them bring something different to the table. And that's one good thing about all their skill sets.
Right, and you mentioned there Christopher Russell from Kahoma Early College and Jamal Brooks from Ripley. One thing that I noticed about those 3 true backs that you've signed is it's 3 different styles of backs.
No doubt.
Ike is your all-purpose style back like you talked about. Then with Brooks, more of that bowling ball style like we see with Jamarcus Quarles. But then with Christopher Russell, another one of those just speed guys that can really get around the end and turn it on for you.
Catch a ball, he did a lot for them. He's going to be a dynamic in a kicking game. He'll play defense, so he's a guy that we'll use all over the place. That's one guy we're really excited about, because I think he can be a multiple slot receiver, running back, do a lot of different things with the ball in his hand. Anytime you can keep the same personnel in the game and line up in different formations with the same kids, it's going to create, mismatches for that defense. So that's one thing we really want to go out and try to find those kids that could do a lot of things for us, on our offense to be able to take a lot of pressure off our quarterback.
Well, staying on that token right there, let's talk about A.B. Smith, quarterback, 6'1", 181, out of Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida. So going out of the state, go get this guy. Sort of tell us a little bit about him.
Home of Emmett Smith. Went down there and saw the pictures of Emmett Smith around the school there, but took them to the state title. Got beat in the state championship. They were undefeated all the way up through the state title. I think they're 7A or 8A in Florida. Dynamic guy, run, pass. I mean, he can pretty much do it all, and that's one thing we want to kind of look for, is a guy that can come in and give us that extra running back in the backfield when you need him. But he is a definite thrower first. That's one thing about him, and very smart kid. Got a good head on his shoulders. Remind me a lot of Dan in his demeanor. And and hopefully he'll come in and provide us a guy that we can that we can move our offense down the field for sure.
And then, of course, you bring in another guy, MACJC first team offensive selection for Class 5A, J.J. Daniels, a 5'10", 175 wide receiver out of Lake Cormorant. Got a couple of guys out of Lake Cormorant actually, but This is one thing that ICC has really become known for now is a lot of great wide receivers that go on and have a career after here as well.
Yeah, one thing about JJ, you like to go around and ask other coaches, who's the best player you played against? Because you want to kind of get their opinions on who they thought were pretty good. And everywhere we went, it was always that kid's name was brought up every time. And he's another kid that can run, and that's one thing that we hopefully can give us some help in that slot area, and be able to move Barry around a little bit. Barry kind of played both positions last year for us, and with Quay Davis as well. So I think those three guys will be will feed off of each other as far as being able to move them around and do different things with them. So we're really excited to get him for sure.
One of the things that stuck out to me about J.J. Daniels is first off, that division they play in 5A in the north part of the state is one of the toughest divisions there is. So to see coaches talk about a guy like that in that tough division, I know that means something to you. But also, that's a team that only completed 70 passes this year. He caught 41 of those. So that tells you something about the player.
A lot of production. And you look at that. You look and see what kind of production kids had, and especially at that level of ball, 5A, 6A ball. I mean, it just means a lot. It means a little more because when they get to college, the game is not as fast. Right. They kind of slow it down a little bit, and so the learning curve is not as much. And, so hopefully he'll be a guy that come in and do the same thing he did in high school.
Of course, you got the big guys up front, and you've got Jontavius Lane, 6'6", 280 out of MS Palmer, Max Heitz, Heights, there we go, 6'4", 285 out of Starkville, and Quindarius Hodges, 6'2", 270 out of South Panola. One of those you kind of like to keep a 50-50 mix with sophomores, freshmen. That way you're not just replacing your entire offensive line each year.
Yeah, didn't have but two. Last year we lost Cameron and Jacob Cunningham. But work the numbers around a little bit, and try to always make room for linemen. You always need linemen because, just like from last year, we had two coming back and had to, sign basically 8 or 9 last year. So kind of flipped this year, but you always want to try to keep linemen in the house for sure. And look for tackle bodies for sure. I mean, we had to get some length out there just because we lost, those guys, and so it was good to replenish some of our O-line there to, keep that number around 10, 11 guys where you want to, make sure you got your numbers enough where, because you got to play those guys. That's one thing about that position. Somebody can go down, but you always got to have them ready, ready to go. So we think we hit some good O-linemen this year for sure.
We talked about just a minute ago with J.J. Daniels and the division they play in up there at Lake Cormorant. But when you talk about Max Heitz at Starkville and Darius Hodges at South Panola, now that division, that's 2 6A in the state of Mississippi. That's possibly the best division in the state. And that's two offensive linemen that have been through the ringer there.
Good football, played against a lot of great players, playing the Horn Lakes and all those, Oxers and play people like that, they're going to be prepared for what they're going to see in college, and that was one thing too. You look for those kids that play in those, bigger divisions, if you would say, just because of the, just because of competition they play, and of course, we always kind of settle this, hey, any Mississippi guy coming in, you're always going to block out-of-staters, because every team's going to put out-of-staters up there, and so you look for those guys that's been through those wars, and you look at Starkville and South Panola, great programs that's, that establish winning, know how to win, so you bring that mentality. Hopefully they'll bring that mentality here with us and keep that going, from high school.
Absolutely. We do want to remind you, if you want to see the full list of signees, go to letsgoicc.com. You can also go back to Twitter, see all the great graphics Lee Adams did today. I tell you what, Lee just takes it to another level each year. And this year, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it yet, but he's even got the highlights behind it as well. So shout out to Lee Adams there. Follow us on Twitter.
I've got a lot of kids hit me up. Can I get that video?
So. All the kids always want the highlights.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, they sure do.
So you can check those out on Twitter at Let's Go ICC. At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Ever since you got that license, you haven't stopped moving forward. Now that you're older and on the move, you need a safer place to keep your money. We get it. A student checking account frees you up with things like mobile check deposit to take care of that check from grandma without having to stop at a bank. Pay with your phone when you're out with friends. And stop worrying about ATM fees. We'll pay you back for those. Worry about your future, not your money. And know that we'll stick with you, wherever you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Get a Little Caesars large, extra most bestest stuffed crust pizza, topped with pepperoni and cheese, and stuffed with over 3 feet of cheese in the crust. That's right, we stuffed cheese into the crust of the pizza with extra cheese and the most pepperoni, all at the nation's best price of just $9. Try our convenient app and Pizza Portal pickup.
Pizza.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And, you know, it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I can go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best star here.
All right, let's look at defense. You know, thinking too about defense, head coach / defensive coordinator. Linebackers, we've already touched on Anthony Dilworth for a second. Itawamba HS, 6'1", 180. Brendan Fairley, 6'2", 215 out of Lake Cormorant. And then Brennan Jordan, he was a MACJC second team defensive selection out of 2A, 6'1", 215 at Philadelphia. And Philadelphia has just been a beast in 2A football as well. So kind of touch on those three guys.
Yeah, you know, lost a lot of production. Lost Keyshawn, Jamal, Nick Smith, Kendrick Jones. So I had to get some, you know, and I've always, last 4 or 5 years, I've had it where I've been pretty much 50-50 with freshmen and sophomores. So if I can always kind of keep my room even, I can, you know. And so it's very important to go out and find some guys. And you know me, I'm you know, I'm not really looking for, you know, you look for size in those positions, but you got to look at the intangibles of being able to run and what you face every week in this league. The old days of having those 250-pound linebackers don't go anywhere. You know, you got receivers and, you know, guys that run in 4.4, so you better be out there with some guys that can, you know, match up with them athletically. So I feel like all three of those bring a lot to the table athletically. You know, one thing I always tell them in recruiting, hey, I'm going to give you your opportunity. You know, if you prove in practice you can learn the system and I'm going to throw you in the game, you know. And I said, so mentally you got to get ready. Game one, you're in, you know. And at that position, boy, really, you know, as far as linebackers and secondary, and along with running backs too, they all got to play special teams, you know. And that's one thing that we kind of tell them, you're a dual role here. You know, you're going to play a position on defense or offense, but you're also going to be involved in special teams, you know. And so that's one thing that I'm gonna put them in there, you know, and I think that's one thing that you know, gets them into playing, and you know, and I tell them how much you play is how well you do, you know. I said, but you're gonna go in there, so it's good to get those three guys to play linebacker for us this coming up year.
You look at Dilworth, he had 100+ tackles this past year. Fairley and Jordan, 70+ tackles on those teams. One thing that stuck out to me about all three of those guys, all three of their teams, deep playoff runs. You know, they've been a part of some winning cultures and stuff. And I know when you look at linebackers, especially with the way you coach the linebacking room, to have those guys come in and fill the roles about some of those guys that you just talked about that are moving on to football and other areas now.
That's right.
That's the kind of guys you want to fill in those shoes.
Got to, you know, and I tell the kids every time we're recruiting, the drawback of our job is we don't get our players very long. You know, you get them and they're gone, and so it keeps the coaches on their toes because you're gonna have to reteach everything you've been doing to brand new kids, and so the development part of it, you see them go through, the weight room. I see our kids that played last year, how much bigger they've gotten over this 2-month period that we've been out, just lifting weights and stuff. So, would you love to have them in spring? Oh yeah, you love to get them in here early enrollees and all those things. But just knowing that they're going to have to come in and play and how much they can get caught up, is part of the biggest learning curve they're going to have. And so once they get that down pat, get the speed of the game, I think they're going to be good players for us.
Of course, you got a couple of defensive backs. Caleb Grayer, he is listed at 5'11", 165 out of South Panola. Perez Kerr, 6'1", 185 out of MS Palmer. MS Palmer's a pretty good little program out there in the Delta as well. It's produced a lot of good athletes.
Yes.
So just talk about those two guys.
Yep. Had some, lost some secondary guys, but I had 10 last year.
Yeah.
We kept 10 defensive backs on our roster, lost 4. So we've got some returning guys back there, but kind of like the linebacker position, you always want to have some guys waiting in the wings. And but Perez is a safety. He's probably 6'1", 6'1". And gonna have to, because our safeties play a big role in our defense. They do a lot for us and making calls and checks and everything. So he's another guy that's gonna come in and fill a big role for us. And then had to replace our corners. Had Savante and Jaquan Williams, lost those guys. So I was able to get Caleb in here and hopefully he'll provide some depth for us. In that secondary and our dime package, nickel package, whatever it would be to get them in there. So, but excited about getting those two guys and like I said, I think we graduated 14, 15, 16 guys last year. So, that's kind of where the numbers are, why they're small, because of what you got coming back and everything. So, but I was able to get a couple in the secondary to add to what we got already, working out with us and everything.
The exciting thing to me about Grayer and Kerr is, with your defense being a primary 3-4 set, you need length and you need athleticism in the secondary, and both of those guys provide that for you.
They do, and a lot of production we lost back there too. Kenneth Martin and Savante and those guys, and going back and thinking what Jaquan did even the last 2 games. Had the 2 picks against Scuba there. Against Southwest, and then had the 2 against Northwest. So. You lose a lot of that experience. Guy played a lot of games for you, so that's one thing you get those guys in there, and that's one position you got to have a short memory.
Right.
If you don't, it's going. It's what we always tell them. You can't go get it back. So you just make sure you keep rolling on for sure.
And you stayed in your backyard and went and got a defensive lineman out of Amory, 6'4", 280. Javion. Okay, so that Z is a little silent in there, but Ezell out of Amory. So another big guy up there up front.
Yeah, really only lost one player last year. We lost Shaquille Brown. He was our only defensive lineman that we lost last year off our front. And that's really one thing. We really wasn't really going out looking for D linemen, but we knew if we could find one guy that we could fill a role for us. And he's a 6'3", 6'4" kid, about 270, 280, and cannot turn down big bodies. That's one thing you always got to look for. And we'll be in the reverse order this next year. We'll be looking for 8 more, but we always want to have somebody there. But did a great job for Amy. Played both ways for them, but feel like he would come in and play a single side of the ball. He's going to be a great player for us, for sure.
I remember going into this season, one of the biggest question marks was on the defensive line because you were so young there. Now, flip the script, and it's a totally different ball game looking forward to this next season. But to bring a guy like Ezell in, good program, coached by Alan Glenn there at Amory, that's the kind of guy you want to plug in and develop when you've got that opportunity.
No doubt, and that's a position you got to play a lot early. Those big guys get tired in that heat, and so you got to roll a bunch of them in there. And that's really kind of what happened to us last year. We go in, and I knew our inexperience was going to be a factor early, and then we lose 5 guys within the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. The different injuries here and there, and you're like, man, what are we going to do? But I think eventually the ones that were healthy and stayed around, we had one we signed last year, LaDerrick Dispenza never even hardly played a down for us. He had a season-ending injury right before the season started, or maybe after game 1. And so those guys got a lot of reps, and then as the season went on, you saw they got a lot better, and and all those things. So that's one thing we're excited about, is having those guys back for the spring. just in the weight room and, getting 15 practice under their belt, how much better they're going to be moving forward. But, anytime you, like I said, always, even if you don't have room, you always try to find room to sign linemen, just because they're such a commodity out there, in the college recruiting.
And the final spot we're going to talk about is special teams. Shane Lashler out of Olive Branch, kicker. Coach, every once in a while you run in those games where you're pretty good, 20-20, just can't find a way to punch it in. But if you can get a solid kicker that can have a pretty solid foot on him, which he is, can really make a difference in this league.
Shane's a dual sport guy. He's a soccer guy, football guy, and did a lot of research on him. And so hard sometimes. You can evaluate a lot of these kids, look at their videos, and you see the tackles and the touchdowns and all that. Hard to watch a kicker, just because sometimes they don't make highlight films. And so I go back, I watch every game film. And the thing I watched was kickoffs. I said, I want to see how far, he's going to kick this ball off, because it's different. It's moved up a little bit and backed up in college or whatever. But, the thing I liked about him, got a lot of height on the ball. I think, they got their last game, I think he kicked a 47-yard field goal,
nice.
Which is pretty sweet in high school, but I think his best football's ahead. He's kind of one of them that just went out there and started kicking and was pretty good at it. But this time last year we were looking at all three of them. We were having to find a punter, snapper, and a kicker. So that was one thing that we had to go out and get us a kicker this year, just because we lost Skyler. But y'all know me, how valuable those guys are. We lost him for a couple games last year. And I'm like, man, when you got a good one, man, it's something that you're thankful for. When you don't have one, you're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? I think we were 0 of 9 on 2-point conversions there. Trying to, but feel like he's gonna be a solid guy for us. And that's one thing I told him. I said, look, man, this is your job. I mean, there's nobody else gonna come in here and compete with you. You're just gonna compete with yourself. But once again, kicking at Olive Branch, big football. So, he's been in those big time games, and so a lot of times that's what kickers need. Got to have in that regard too. So.
And I love what you said there too, because it truly is the third phase of the game that sometimes gets easily overlooked. But thinking back to last season, I mean, when you've got a healthy group out there on the special teams side of things, that can really change your whole game plan.
Oh man, I mean, look at what I mean. Don't really think about it. Remember when Skyler kicked the field goal against Northwest there in the last game, early in the game, we went up, 10-0 or whatever it was, and then looked up, and the difference of the ball game, and you don't look at it like that, but you think, man, we didn't make that field goal, we're beat, and but those guys are weapons, and that's one thing I've always told them, man. I said, you're looked at a lot different than, you're just not the kicker, man. You are the kicker, and so knowing the importance of that having those, good special teams and just like with Brett Hayden last year, I thought he came on and man, hit some big punts for us. And, sometimes it takes kids a little bit of time to get it figured out, but was down them things inside the 10. And whenever you can flip the field position, man, that's huge in a football game.
And again, that's our complete list so far of the guys coming in to sign with us. So now we've got all the signees in. So what is the next phase now to maybe fill some roles or some spots that you may need to fill? Yeah,
we've got a few more out there, that we'll sign over here. And, last season we was able to pick up a couple transfers throughout the spring semester. And so we'll always be on the lookout for those guys. And, probably put our main focus on the ones that are here now. I think we've got 40-something guys in there working out, in the weight room, and so you kind of put your focus on those guys because you're gone so much during the month of January. You're really not around your team, maybe 1 or 2 times a week that you see them, and so now you kind of put, you kind of fast forward that to these off-season workouts, and then after spring break comes in, we hit spring practice, and so that's probably where we put the most attention right now moving forward is just the kids we have here now, and there's still kids out there that we're actively recruiting that, we've got a few spots that we could fill with them, and so we're always looking for those guys.
When thinking about spring practice, and then also with the addition of these guys coming up in the summer, what is your philosophy on when you come out of those practices and you start to take a look at the fall? Is it the depth chart open, an open competition at every position?
Well, you look at some positions, maybe so. Some positions are wide open. Depending on the position, just like receiver, if we're 4 receiver set, then we're going to have 8 because all 4 can't play the whole game, and so that's one thing you always, especially at our level, you don't have the numbers where you've got 15 or 16 at one position where you can say, okay, you guys are offensively, this is what we're going to, other guys, you're going to be special teams and all that. So, you move a lot of guys around in the spring. You might try a guy on defense. Maybe he's on offense the year before. Just try to mix and match. Where you think your best fit is. Just like with my linebacker group, I'm going to move some kids around this spring. Maybe they did something different last year for me, but teach them maybe a new position. So in case you ever have to go back to that, then they've kind of worked it. It's almost kind of like building depth from within. Is this guy going to be a center? Well, if he's not really good at snapping the ball, let's play him at guard some for a couple weeks, just kind of see where he is. And so, you'd like to think that, that you would have starters coming in the fall, but, you never know. You never know what these new kids are going to be able to do to come in, and sometimes they'll pick it up real quick, and you're like, man, we got us one here. Or I said, well, we might have to kind of spoon feed him a little bit to, to get him some reps till he gets it under his belt, And but it's always funny. I always ask my kids usually toward the end of the season, I said, all right, boys, I said, y'all go back now, play Friday night, knowing what you know now. Well, Coach, man, I tell you what, I'd be killing it out there, So you get them those experience and everything, and hopefully that's what spring does. You get a lot of kids maybe that didn't play a whole lot for you. You get them every rep because there's nobody else out there to take those reps. So you know how it is. The more you do, the better they're going to get. And that's usually the exciting thing about coaching these kids in the spring, because you see them get so much better at just at their techniques and everything like that. And so looking forward to getting to work with them for sure.
Again, you can see that complete list on letsgoicc.com.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man, because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I could go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
At Renaissance Bank, we understand your company deserves individualized attention that will support your company's goals. Whether you're looking to finance or lease equipment, we offer flexible options to help you secure capital for your assets. Whether you're a transportation company looking to expand your fleet, a telecommunications company upgrading your capabilities, or anything in between, we can help you. We offer finance agreements or capital leases, tax leases, and track leases, as well as tax-free financing for municipalities and 501c3s. We've been providing financial services to businesses like yours for over a century. So let us show you how Renaissance Bank's equipment financing and leasing can benefit your company. Renaissance Bank, understanding you. Member FDIC.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Grass-fed beef.
No, corn-fed.
On the grill.
Now, flat top.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nah, arugula. Jalapeno.
No way. Avocado, dude.
Medium rare. Gotta be well done.
Brioche.
Sesame seeds.
American cheese.
Cheddar.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, man. I like my burger with the Coke.
I'll agree to that.
Strictly with a Coke.
Only with the Coke.
Coke and a burger. Come on.
All right.
That's where you get the flavor.
Car Hop Classic for just $2.99 is the perfect 1-2 punch of flavor and value.
Time that.
You need a trainer to help you eat the burger?
Hey, stay out of this.
Don't get in my head, man. There's barely room for me in there.
Hurry in and try quarter-pound double cheeseburger or 6-inch Philly plus tots for $2.99.
My mom never let me eat this much cookie dough.
What would she say if she saw you eating this big scoop cookie dough blast?
I don't know. Why ask her?
Don't tell your father.
Oh, naughty, naughty.
Hurry in and scoop up our new cookie dough treats. Try order ahead to get happy hour anytime.
Student involvement is a top priority here at Itawamba Community College.
If you want to be involved with student government, then the Student Government Association is the place for you.
If you have a stellar GPA, then Phi Theta Kappa is for you.
If you're interested in the diverse culture of our campus population, then the Diversity Club is for you.
If you're interested in leadership and service, then Indian Delegation is for you.
If you're majoring in computer programming or computer networking, then CPNA, the Computer Programming Networking Association, is for you.
If you're interested in good conversations and free lunch on Thursdays, then the Wesley Foundation is for you.
Our health science programs also have specific organizations for those majors.
Student Activities is excited to bring you new opportunities here at the ICC Tupelo campus.
Whatever your passion may be, we have a place for you.
This video is brought to you by Phi Theta Kappa, Beta Chi Sigma, Tupelo campus.
only one guy signing today from us to go to the next level. We had 6 sign in the early signing period, but it was Keyshawn Parker, the NJCAA Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
He's going to Missouri State. Just talk about Keyshawn and what you feel like he can take to the next level.
Yeah, I know the measurements sometimes get kids, and I get that part of it, but I always look at, I was a short college football player, and, and so sometimes kids just need a chance, and I think, Coach Petrino coming in there as a new coach, maybe really not knowing what his team there he's inheriting, and, looking for good football players, because they came through late in the recruiting process. As soon as they all got hired, here they come, a lot of word of mouth, hopefully that that they saw the same thing I did. Obviously, called me and said, Coach, we really, going to take him, and I think he's going to make a great addition to their team. Just maybe not even on the football field, just in the locker room in general. But that's one thing kids need, just need a shot sometimes, and I think he'll be a guy that can roll with it for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously very impressive out there on the field, Keyshawn, this year. It's several games where he probably was the saving grace for the defense as you look out there, and he was that guy. So I really don't think there's any doubt. Coach Bobby Petrino, year one, he's got himself a real stud there at linebacker in Keyshawn Parker.
Oh yeah, and I think he's going to turn a lot of heads going up in there, and that's what I kind of told the coach about him. I said he's going to be a guy not only on the field but in the locker room too now. So he's going to demand that. He's going to demand that presence in the locker room, and anytime a new coach comes in, that's maybe what they need, but excited for him. I know that's always a dream of these kids, to be able to reach the next level, and him able to do that, and so we can tell the next group coming in, here you go, man, work hard, and good things are going to happen to you. And that's one thing that I always kind of told me in recruiting, just be patient, man. Good things are going to happen to you. If you're just patient enough and just wait your time, everything's always going to work out. I've seen it happen too many times here, over the past. I go think about Keymon Hall and, the path he took to, get to North Texas, and now he's, with the Minnesota Vikings. I said, you never know where football can lead you, but you got to be ready for that opportunity when it comes your way, for sure.
And it's a unique landscape now with the transfer portal. And we've talked about this off camera, but it used to be where just about every day you would have just tons of coaches in looking for next guys, but this transfer portal is a game changer. Talk about how it's affected the recruiting of our guys here, and maybe even the whole landscape of recruiting.
It's different now. I've talked to a lot of coaches in the league, and y'all got a lot of guys coming by, and not like it used to be, and I think half the battle now is these coaches really not knowing on their team who's really coming back on their own football team. And I think they probably spend more time recruiting their own players than looking for other players. And I get it. I mean, you can go and see where this guy here and this guy here, and that's what you're going to actually recruit, because maybe you knew about him beforehand. Maybe you recruited him, he went to some other school or whatever. But, I would say that. It has put a little bit of damper on junior college football, because there's really good players in our league that are still out there, that in the past, man, they've been scooped up just like that, but, just the time we live in, it's just the rules that the NCAA gives these kids an avenue to, be able to choose and go other places, but am I a fan of it? In some aspects, yes, because it does help some kids, be able to go and play somewhere. Maybe they're buried third or fourth on the depth chart and give them a new opportunity, but sometimes that's always not the best option either. Sometimes you stick it out and work your tail off and make yourself, And so it has changed. I've noticed it here in the last couple of years that part of it's changed, just in recruiting in our league for sure.
It almost feels to me like the NCAA has allowed for free agency to happen within college football, because there's obviously cases you hear of guys where it definitely helps, a situation where maybe it may not work in one place and he goes somewhere else and has a lot of success. I mean, you think about, your national champion quarterback and your Heisman Trophy winner from this past year. But to me, and Coach, I feel like you probably agreed, there's just as many cases, if not more, where it probably hurts.
I think so.
As well as the school.
I think so. And I guess some of them are looking for the next best thing in that regard. But I get it. Sometimes that they may go to a place where they think that it's going to be something that it's not, and then they all of a sudden look around and but always I kind of look into, hey, this is where I want to go, and I'm gonna make the best of it, and I get the grad transfer deal, and you used up your eligibility at that school, then hey, you can go find the other place to play, because I dealt with them before. We had a lot of grad transfers at my previous school before I come here. So I get that, and it helped us. You know, we had some good players that were, you know, that came down and helped us, but you know, just the way it's kind of moved and shaped, it's a different deal for these kids now. You know, so I think they've got to work that much more harder to be able to get those opportunities at those 4-year levels, just because of the way the transfer portal is nowadays.
Absolutely. Well, let's just kind of wrap up the day here, Coach. Again, appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to us. A lot of people go into this recruiting trail up to this day, and I know Julia's going to be glad to have you back on a bit more. But kind of just giving a shout out to your coaches and all the people that have helped get to this day. And I know it's not over with, but for the most part, you can breathe a little bit easier now.
Yeah, you know, you go back and think about how just the way the rules are set up now, you can only really get to these kids once a week.
Right.
And so you really had to, you know, we probably meet more during recruiting season than we do during football season. You know, just trying to get our days planned out and who's going here and there, and really me trying to get myself spread around to go see all these different kids and things, and I, you know, give credit to my coaches because they've kind of worked their areas, and you know, being able to go and help them and go see parents and go see kids at school and everything. So I try to be as visible as I can, just because of you know, that's important to me to get, you know, make sure these kids know who I am and everything like that. So a lot of driving, a lot of man hours and everything that you just really don't really know. Like last week, I thought it was Thursday. I thought it was Friday. Didn't even know what day it was. You know, they just run into each other because you're up so early and you're getting home late. But this is all what's worth it. And you see these kids that are that'll make plays for you in the fall. You're like, man, that overnight trip was worth it, or that you know, that 8-hour day, you know, on the road and back and forth, and it was all worth it. You know, to be able to see these kids. But you know, like I said, we knew we were going to have a small number this year to sign. And so that's kind of where we wanted to make sure we got the quality kids and not just having, I think last year, our first visit, we had 25, 26 kids on a visit. I think the most we had this year was 9.
Right.
And so you're not as big of a group because you don't have as many numbers assigned, so you feel like you can kind of get to individualize those kids a little more and all that. So, but like I said, always an exciting day for these guys and families and everything to be able to say they're college football players, you know, and that's one thing they'll never be able to take away from them. That's something that's always, you know, they always can have to say about them for the rest of their life.
We'll get you some rest for the next couple days and get ready because spring practice will be here, and then summer workouts will roll around, and then season, and then it's time to do the whole process over again. There's not much off time involved with it.
You know, usually after, you know, you look right after signing date, it's kind of like, whew, you catch a little break, and here comes spring break, and it's like, man, here we go. You know, weather gets warmed up, and here we are issuing the helmets back out and getting out the cleats, and like, man, here we go again. You know, you look up and it's end of school, and it's like, boom, here we go. You know, back at it. So. But you know, I always heard this as far as when you get older, time does fly. I mean, you look up and it's like, man, it does fly. You know, because this will be going into what year 7 is being the head coach here. Like, man, you know, and so it does fly by. You know, and as you get older, you really don't. You know, you realize it more as you get older. Like, man, this is where's time go. You know, and but that's one good thing about it. It does keep you changing. That's one good thing about doing that, because you kind of go from season to recruiting to off season to spring, and you just kind of roll around. So it does keep it mixed up for us.
Well, Coach, did we miss anything you want to talk about today?
No, they were good. I appreciate everybody on campus. You know, that's one thing about that kids have never been here, or you know, parents or guardians that come here, they're all impressed about our place. You know, and that's one thing. And you know, we always kind of tell them, we ever get them on campus, this place will sell itself. You know, and I think that's one thing. And you know, all the people in recruiting and you know, admissions and advising and all that we get around our different areas that we do visit with kids, and it's always good to, they're hearing the same thing we're telling them, you know, just and they can see about the people here, and that's one thing that this place sells itself for sure.
Well, Sean, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it's been a long day, but it's been a good day as we welcome new faces to the ICC family and getting fired up for August whenever we strap it up and go for real.
There we go.
At Itawamba Community College, your education is our top priority. With a 20-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, you will get the help that you need from your instructors. With 3 locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden, ICC offers classes that will prepare you to enter almost any job field of your choice. Learn more about Wallet Hub's #1 community college in Mississippi and the 25th best in the country by visiting iccms.edu or apply online at apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Zelle is the new way to move money, and it's already included inside your Renaissance Bank mobile app. No additional downloads, no additional signups. Whether you're paying a friend back for pizza or chipping in for gas, Zelle lets you send money quickly to almost anyone in your contacts. Here's how it works. Open the Renaissance app, log in, and tap the blue button with the white plus sign on it and select Zelle. Choose Send, Request, or Split. Pick who you want to exchange money with, either from your contacts or by entering a phone number or email. Choose the account you want to pay with and select an amount. Review and confirm. To stay organized, you can even include a short description of what each payment is for. That's it. Your money is on the move. Most payments take place in just minutes. No need to download another app. It all happens inside here. Balance the bill, split the check, and pay your way with Zelle. To learn more about Zelle, visit RenaissanceBank.com or download the Renaissance Bank mobile app to start using Zelle today. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And, you know, it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I could go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour being presented by Renaissance Bank. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, RenaissanceBank.com. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your morning to join us here on the ICC Hour. We're here every Tuesday starting at 9:06. We talk about anything and everything from institutional, academic, athletic. We've already heard from Coach Sean Cannon today, talking about National Signing Day this past week. And, of course, if you miss any of this show today, you can go back and listen or watch these shows on our Let's Go ICC TV on-demand section. You'll see the section there for the ICC Hour, or you can search ICC Hour on YouTube. All right, so recently the ICC Dinner Theater has released their information on what they'll be performing this year and tickets going on sale. So let's take a look at that. The ICC Dinner Theater will present the Over the River and Through the Woods, with dinner beginning at 6:30, March 26th through the 28th, in the banquet rooms of the David C. Cole Student Service Building here in Fulton. All right, so Over the River and Through the Woods is a hilarious comedy that's about a lively Italian family which focuses on the character Nick and his decision to move away from his grandparents or stay in New York. Now, to sweeten the deal to stay, the relatives have a plan, and that's invite a pretty girl to dinner. So not a bad plan there. Now, here's the cast this year, and I do apologize if I say these names wrong, but the cast includes Dayton Shigag of South Haven. He'll be playing Nick. Mason Fisher of Manatachee will be playing Frank. Kaylee Cox of Amory. And then you got Colton Sumner. Morgan Bailey of Belden. Colton Sumner is from Smithville. And then you've got Emily Schaefer of Saltillo. They also have members of the crews are Maddie Cox of Amory, Maggie Garrett of Pontotoc, Lindsay Roberts of Guntown, and the director is Dr. Lauren McBride. She's from Fulton. Tickets, which are $20 and include dinner, they can be purchased at iccms.edu/theater. That's iccms.edu/theater. Now, if you're wondering what's for supper that night, it's going to be worth the price of admission by itself. The menu includes Parmesan chicken or roast beef, garlic mashed potatoes, a vegetable medley, a tossed salad, the red velvet cake, and a cheesecake in strawberry glaze. I'm just going to say this. I've had that red velvet cake before, and it is killer. For more information, call 662-862-8307. That's 862-8307 for more information on the ICC Dinner Theater as they present Over the River and Through the Woods starting at 6:30, March 26th through the 28th. You can visit iccms.edu/theater. for more information and to order those tickets. Also, something else coming up with a good friend of mine, Jessie Stevenson of Mantachie. She's the fine arts instructor here at ICC. Oh, and by the way, the 2020 Mississippi Humanities Teacher Award recipient. She'll present Changing the World One Communicator at a Time, a discussion of OxyContin, the power of storytelling, and the importance of dialogue in the communication process. That'll be on February the 25th at 6 p.m. in the Fine Arts Auditorium here on the Fulton campus. Now, Jessie is a Calhoun County native. I'm from Pittsburgh. She's from Bruce. She's been employed at ICC since 2006, where she also serves as the co-director of the ICC Travel Tribe, and a lot of other great things she does here as well. She's the sponsor of the Communication Chiefs. Now, she'll be honored at the Mississippi Humanities Council Public Award Ceremony on March 27th in Jackson. Now, this event on February the 25th at the Fine Arts Auditorium starting at 6, where she's presenting Changing the World One Communicator at a Time, a discussion of OxyContin, the power of storytelling, and the importance of dialogue in the communication process. Is free to the public. Once again, you can visit iccms.edu for more information. And let's take a look at what's going on in the sports world. Of course, this show is previously recorded, so we don't know what the weather forecast looks like for the baseball, softball games throughout the week. Kind of have an idea, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the schedule as it was going into the week. Later today at 1 o'clock, the baseball team, actually both teams, baseball and softball, will be hosting Bevel State. Baseball getting their opening pitch scheduled for 1 o'clock and softball scheduled for 2 o'clock. Now, of course, there's a lot of rain scheduled for Monday and Tuesday, also Wednesday, so we don't know if those games are being played or not in advance right now, as I said, when we're recording this. But you can follow us on Twitter at Let's Go ICC or visit letsgoicc.com for more information on schedule changes there throughout the year. Wednesday, softball will be right back in action here in Fulton. Both of those games on Tuesday, by the way, were here in Fulton. But Wednesday here in Fulton, softball versus Snead State, scheduled for a 2 o'clock start. Thursday is basketball on the road for a pair of big-time division matchups against Coahoma. Lady Indians will start at 5:30. The Indians will follow at 7:30. You can watch those games on letsgoicctv.com, the Red Channel, or you can listen to them right here following Sports Talk Mississippi on 101.9 FM. Friday, still a lot of sports going on there as baseball will host Southern Illinois. That'll be at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Softball will host Marion Military, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And tennis will be on the road at Meridian, again, pending the weather throughout the week on those games being scheduled there. Now, there's nothing scheduled for Saturday or Sunday, but if some of these games get rained and need to be made up or can get it made up, don't be surprised if some of those get moved to the weekend. So that's what's coming up at ICC, being presented by Little Caesars.
Get a Little Caesars large, extra most bestest stuffed crust pizza, topped with pepperoni and cheese, and stuffed with over 3 feet of cheese in the crust. That's right, we stuffed cheese into the crust of the pizza with extra cheese and the most pepperoni, all at the nation's best price of just $9. Try our convenient app and Pizza Portal pickup.
Pizza, pizza.
And that's going to do it for today's ICC Hour, being presented by Renaissance Bank. Remember to visit renaissancebank.com to find out more about all the awesome options they've got going over there at Renaissance Bank. And also don't forget to check out renaissancernation.com. If you missed any of today's show, you can find those on YouTube by searching the ICC Hour, or go and visit letsgoicctv.com, the on-demand section. You can see this show and other episodes there as well. This has been Adam Gore, the Sports Information Director and Director of Media Relations here at Itawamba Community College. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And as always, Roll Tide.
Brought to you by Renaissance Bank, the bank that understands you. Learn more at renaissancebank.com.